We are aware that the first second off-season elections will happen in November in 3 states, Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi state. So please allow me to just go on and read the text that we have here. It's a roundtable. We expect questions and interaction for this, and I assure you we're not going to take too much of your time. If we are too late in leaving this place, we should leave here in the next 45 minutes. Today we are here to reflect on the recent elections and emphasize the importance of putting the challenges encountered into context, especially as legal matters are currently before the tribunal and preparing for another set of off-cycle elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. While it is crucial to acknowledge the hurdles faced during the electoral process, we should also focus on the positives that emerged from the elections and ensure that they are sustained. In recognition of the vital role that the electoral umpire plays in safeguarding the democratic values of our nation, united by a shared commitment to a common cause, we must tirelessly pursue a free, fair, and credible electoral process. It is undeniable that some citizens express concerns about the challenges that border the election, such as logistical issues. However, we must consider the broader context in which the elections took place. The lack of adequate resources, such as cash and fuel, combined with the persistent insecurity across the country, pose significant challenges for the successful execution of the electoral process. In some unfortunate cases, citizens, including some adult staff of the electoral umpire, themselves fell victim to these challenges, with some being adopted and tragically losing their lives. These circumstances should not be overlooked when evaluating the performance of the last elections that we had. Furthermore, we must remain vigilant and aware that there are still individuals advocating for an interim government who utilize sophistry and exploit election-related issues to further their ulterior motives. It is essential for all Nigerians to recognize these forces and remain steadfast in our commitment to preserving the integrity of our democracy. While acknowledging the challenges that went on with the 2023 general election, we must not lose sight of the real gains of the elections. We witnessed electoral upset in regions that were considered strongholds of certain political parties, illustrating the evolving political landscape and the growing unpredictability of our electorate. New players were introduced into the electoral process, signaling a dynamic, inclusive, and constantly evolving political space. These developments are a strong message that our electoral process is not only functional, but we must all ensure that this continues steadily. In managing elections within a nation as expansive and diverse as ours, significant challenges arise. The innovative reforms, such as the BVAS, has helped to a large extent to strengthen the credibility of our electoral processes. This technology-based system has strengthened the credibility, transparency, and integrity of our elections. Furthermore, the EMB's adapt use of technology has set a new standard for election management bodies. Perhaps, as we have said, and we said during the observation period of the election, we are beginning to see the real numbers of people who come out to vote on election day. The fact that we have an election where the winner came up with 8 million votes and the following votes were 6 million, altogether putting it, say, about 50 million votes, means that we are now having the real people who are voting in the country, unlike in the past, where you had the numbers without the people coming out to vote. Among the most significant reform also is the issue of the continuous voter registration as enshrined in our electoral law, which gave opportunity for more persons to be registered as as voters. As a country, we all, as civil society and the electoral umpire, were instrumental in pushing for the repeal of the Electoral Act. We strongly advocated for a new law that addressed the challenges and opportunities of our electoral system. The law marks a transformative milestone in our democratic journey. The push for about 15 clauses in the new act led to tangible improvement in our electoral processes. In light of these conclusions, let us focus on acknowledging the positive aspects of elections and placing any encounter challenges within the appropriate context. By doing so, we can ensure a free, unbiased assessment of the electoral process while remaining vigilant against those who seek to undermine our democracy. As we push closer to the off-season election in Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi states, we must ensure that the gains we have had with our electoral processes are not swept under the carpet. We must also not forget to call out the other stakeholders in the electoral process, the security agents. We need to have security so that citizens who come out to vote are protected. We are all aware of the challenge we had at the last off-season election in Kogi, where my team, myself and some members of my team were almost lynched in Kogi State during the election because of insecurity issue. We need to address this and call out the security agencies to do that. And finally, I must not also forget to state that the role that political parties play in undermining our electoral process should not be something we can sweep under the floor. We have seen that consistently the political class has been the missing link of the electoral reforms that we have, and we need to continuously hold them accountable, considering the fact that they're the ones who eventually benefit from our electoral process. They should make commitment to ensure that our electoral process is free, transparent, and we are able to protect our democracy on the long run. Thank you very much. We're still in the process of collating reports and looking at what has happened, because most of us were on the field. At times, people come and contribute on these issues without having been on the field. We have data that we got from the observers that we deployed to the field. We used our forms to get those data. And it's important also to put this on the table, that everyone who is working in the electoral space should be knowledgeable about the electoral processes. It is when we don't have that knowledge about the electoral processes that we run away with what is out there without looking at really what has passed on the ground. And in the same vein, at times we bring our emotions and our political leanings into the kind of conversations that we're having. I'm not a card-carrying member of any political party. I don't think I have anybody can say that I'm a card-carrying member of any political party. But there are some people who are card-carrying members of political parties, and because it didn't go well in some areas, it went well. In other areas, they rejoice because it went their way. In other areas, they don't rejoice because it didn't go their way. The political process is for us to strengthen our democracy. And the reason for this is because the next off-season election that is coming, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo, there are some lessons we have learned from the 2023 general elections that we need to highlight to help strengthen the forthcoming elections that we are having. And I think also that all of these conversations that we're having, as we're putting the torchlight on the electoral empire, we should look at the political class. We need to extract the commitment from the political class that they are ready to help our electoral processes. Because as far as the political class continue to carry on business as usual, we will see put everything in place, give the assurance that everything is going to work, but when it comes on election day, we see those issues that we don't have a handle on, issues around political class, and then talking about, I think it was somebody that raised internal corruption within the system, talking about the inducement of staff, INEC staff or the electoral umpire, people on the field, talking about the insecurity on the field. These are things we need to provide solutions about so that we can further strengthen our electoral process. One, the electoral process is the electoral act. What is the role of a party agent? Now, let me give you a very practical example. During the elections, I was on one of the news channels, doing the analysis, and as I mentioned it, we have 176,000 polling units. Now, if you are running for a presidential election, you're supposed to have at least 176,000 party agents. So that on the field, after election, your party agent is supposed to get the results from the field. The same thing, depending on the constituency that you are running. If you're a councillor, you want to run elections, you should know the number of polling units within your constituency so that you can have party agents who are helping you to monitor that. So when you have those 176,000 party agents, they're supposed to have 176 result sheets with them. So you don't have that on the field, and you have set up a situation room where you are setting up reports. So because you don't have eyewitness on the field to say this is what is happening, you depend on whether at times you depend on news media or you depend on what the people are saying, and you just come to a conclusion that this is what is happening. But when you go down to the field, you find out that it is not exactly what has happened. I had the privilege of engaging one of the spokespersons of the political party, and the very first question I asked, did you have party agents in 176,000 polling units? And he said no. And then there was another occasion I had, somebody mentioned one of the presidential candidates at that time and asked me, where do you think this person can get money to put 176 party agents on the field? So at the end of the day, you're running a presidential race and you're not able to have 100, I'm talking of 100 persons as party agents from your political party to put on the field where you're supposed to cover 176,000 polling units in the country. So whatever information you are getting, you are basing it on the 100 people that you have put on the field. That is, if you are able to put, that on the field. And also remember that before the elections, we highlighted that there were persons, some partisan persons, who were recommended as resident electoral commissioners across the country. And we kept talking about that, but the National Assembly actually went ahead and approved those persons as resident electoral commissioners. And they were the ones who were on the field, managing our elections. We said that. So when you have somebody who is partisan already playing that role, you're definitely going to get some of the informations or misinformation that you're going to get. So the solution we have, as part of what we're doing, we're also collecting information from people across, those who voted, those who didn't vote, on how do we address these challenges that we have seen within our elections. And we have contextualized those issues around security issues, the issues of misinformation. Voter education, we have found out, is key, is very important. People need to understand what their roles are, what the laws are saying about our electoral processes to help them, perform that. But most importantly, we have found out also that the biometric voter accreditation system that we have has helped us to determine the actual number of persons who come out to vote on election day. This is the lowest we have gotten so far since we started our democracy. And it is because every time we put the issue of technology out, remember the off-season elections, before we got into the general election, we saw the impact that the BVAS itself had on our electoral process. So what we are really saying is, the BVAS, we still say and still maintain it is a game changer in our electoral process. We need to build on that technology. We need to strengthen the processes, and the different organizations and stakeholders who are participating in delivering our elections in the country. Yes, please.